Alright, so I bought a thing. I don't know exactly what year it is. I know it starts with an 8, because that number has not been worn off yet. And it does not yet have a 17 character VIN, so 80, 81, maybe 82. Anyway, it's the early 80s Suzuki SP400. Picked this up for a few $100 today on a whim. I wasn't expecting to buy anything, but I mean, it's pretty complete. Taillight's there. There's a crack in it. Both signals are there. All the switches are there. Headlights there. Gauges are there. The tank isn't terrible. I mean, there's some shitty paint on it, but it's not got any big creases or dents in it that I can see. It's not rusty inside. The seat's not terrible. One thing does turn over, but kickstart stripped. I don't want to do that too much. It's been welded and it's stripped, so probably someone at some point did not know about the decompression lever, which does work. And it's kicking, tons of compression on this thing, and stripped it out. So that's what I'm guessing what happened. The guy I got it from said that he had bump started it down his driveway and it ran. I pushed it up and down the street a few times. I could smell old gas. I didn't try too hard though, because I don't have any hills around me, and just wearing myself up running up and down the street with this thing. So first thing we're going to do is look at this. It does try to bite, and if you bump it past that spot, it will turn over a couple times, but there's obviously something wrong, so we gotta get it apart, and I'm gonna start there. So first thing I noticed off the bat, that shouldn't be like that. So hopefully it's just a matter of the tensioner being loose. I see that bolt's come off. Somebody's been in here before, so hopefully it's just that. As far as the kickstart gear itself, this one looks okay. I can't quite slide that up because of the clutch basket, so probably something in behind I can't quite see in there, so gotta get the clutch basket off next. Alright, so the cam chain tightened up as soon as I took tension off of this bolt. I heard it snap out, so it seems to be okay. The problem with the Kickstarter though, issue is a couple of missing teeth on the back of the clutch drum. So unfortunately, I think that's a whole drum, and as well, those missing teeth have taken out this idler gear. I suppose in a pinch you could clean up those teeth and reuse them, but they're not really all that good, so I'm going to try to replace this too. There's just a little idler here. The actual kickstart gear itself appears to be fine. I don't see any funny wear on it or anything like that, so that's good. It was ratcheting properly when it was in there. So, clutch drum and kickstart idler gear. Other than that, someone's been in here, clean oil. I'm seeing a few metal shavings, probably from when I was spinning it over, but oh, and that might be the teeth. Hold on. Alright, so found half the circlip from the back of the clutch drum and a few teeth in the bottom there, as well as a couple of smaller chunks, and these were in the cap for the oil strainer. So my dad has a borescope, so I'm gonna have another look in there, but I think that's all the chunks. I hope that's all the chunks. I don't want to split the case on this thing. So anyway, I guess I have some parts to track down. Alright, so I'll admit I worked a little bit ahead on this one. So pretty much in the week after I bought this on a weekend, looking Well, I brought it home. My dad had a DR 370 way back when. So, of course, when I brought this home, it kind of rekindled his interest. He started looking, and he found two. He found this one for himself, and it came with this parts bike, and that box of shocks and parts in the bag for a pretty decent price. So I said, I'll buy the parts bike if it helps you get this one. So it was a good deal. And I had already ordered the clutch basket and the kickstart idler gear for this off eBay. They still aren't going to come for another few weeks yet. So I stole them out of this because they're the same. This is these are both 370s. This is a 400, but they're the same parts. I got it back together, and I attempted to start it. I ran for about 3 seconds, and then every time you try to start it, the Kickstarter would try to launch me to the moon. And considering the kickstart lever that was on this bike has been broken and welded, and the gears are stripped, this is probably an ongoing issue with this bike. It feels very much like ignition timing is super advanced. I've run into this once before on a Kawasaki 2-stroke, and the magnets inside the flywheel had come unbonded and were just spinning around freely. So every now and then it would land in the right spot to run, but then it would just go super advanced. So the manual seems to allude that you can take the flywheel cover off without draining the oil, so that's what I'm going to try to do. Alright, so everything on the flywheel looks good, and what triggers the spark is this little knob here as it passes over these pickup coils here. Now, that stator assembly looks a lot newer than the rest of in here, and 4 out of the 5 bolts to hold this on were new, and the other one was loose. So someone's definitely been in here. I see, it looks like you can see just a hair of a slot there. So I'm going to have to go refer back to the manual, see what it says about ignition timing, and see just how you set that, because I mean, there's no way you can really do that with it on the engine, so I don't know. See what the manual says. Alright, so I checked the manual, and literally the only thing it says about timing this is to line up, can I get the light to shine on it? Line up the index mark with the center of the screw hole, which it looks maybe ever so slightly off center. But, I mean, that's not very specific. It doesn't say anything else about timing this at all. So, if you look at that screw hole right there, you can see it's right at the end of one slot, maybe. I don't know. Lighting sucks in here. Pretty much, the flywheel rotates counterclockwise on the engine. So in here, it would rotate clockwise. And with it all the way at the end of that slot, we are going to be pretty much at full advance. So I'm going to rotate this clockwise a little bit. We will center it in that hole. I think we'll center it in that one, and put it back on and see how that works. Alright, let's go for a startup attempt. Gas on, choke. alert. So I tried a couple times, wound up at full retard, and still didn't want to start and kept kicking right up into me. So I took the flywheel off. Keyway there looks fine. Keyway there looks fine. So it's not that. Now we're getting to the point where maybe cam timing being a little bit off is causing this. I really don't know, but I'm running out of options or possibilities here, at least in my brain. So just to eliminate the chance, took the rocker cover off to verify cam timing, and just like I thought, dead on. You can see maybe there's that little notch there. It's supposed to be parallel with the cylinder head on the intake side at top dead center, so that's good. Alright, so it's the next day, and I was doing some kicking off camera, and I sprained my ankle. So I went in, did some research, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm doing it wrong. So now that I'm pretty sure I know how to do it, got my boots on, kicking lefty. It's starting to show signs of life. I changed the carb. It had a CV carb on it. Took it apart to go through it just to eliminate that issue, and the float was sunk. So this is a round side Mikuni from a 370. It's clean. It's gone through. And I'm starting to get signs of life, so we'll set you up somewhere, and if it goes, you will know about it. So I think I've got the technique down, and it's almost running pretty good. I've just got to tune the carb a little bit, but it's just a matter of getting it to idle long enough to grab a screwdriver and get in there and adjust it. But so what I do is ignition off, turn it just past compression, like that, and choke on. Oh, forgot to turn the gas on. So that tapping you hear appears to be the decompression valve. It needs a bit of adjustment. Air screw and a fuel screw underneath. I think we're pretty good. We've got a bit of an oil leak coming from the adjustment of the valve cover. Yeah, you see if I pull the compression valve in, that tap quiets right up. So that's a simple adjustment. So, it runs. I really thought I had a timing issue, but it turns out I just don't know how to kickstart a bike this size. So anyway, that'll be all for this weekend. Thank you for watching, and I hope you